Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and this is year 4 of my Sweden democracy free campaign. Now you would have noticed that the intro is a little bit different, and the reason is that this was not supposed to be recorded today, but it is because well, the save game doesn't work. So which means that this will unfortunately also be the last year of the Sweden campaign. So I'm gonna try and play it out, see if I can win the election. It's unfortunately getting very late, so I can't finish the campaign as in go through the second term. So we're gonna try and win the election. Probably will have no issues doing so. Maybe talk some politics, and that's going to be that. Unfortunately, it's there doesn't seem to be a fix. It what it is. So without further ado, I guess let's get started. All right. So oh yes, and also if you compare this to the ending of year 3, you would have noticed that there was an issue. So one of like the policy question issues regarding the deportation of illegal immigrants. I did deport them because this sends a wrong message to legal and illegal immigration. But I couldn't record that because I thought that was what was getting in the way of saving the game. Unfortunately, it isn't. So, goddamn it, fix your game. All right. So we start off with a solid amount of political capital and a very good position when it comes to the election that will come in 3 quarters. But since there is no choice but to have this be a one-term thing, I'm going to speed along some of the things in the second term. I'm going to have to speed that along. And whether I can still win the election after that, well, we'll see. So, for 42 political capital is pretty much enough to pass anything. I mean, I believe the most expensive something can get is 50. We can check that actually. No, what's something that's gonna be? No, it can get up to like 55. I guess we'll continue as I would have. All right, first things first. We kind of made our own drug problem, and now I'm going to make money off of it. Now, you might call me a scumbag. You might be right. But this does help to lower this does help to lower drug consumption while also lowering crime, while also making money for the government in the process. Obviously, I didn't actually want to implement this early. This was planned for at least year 6 of the campaign, but we're gonna just speed this along. So we're gonna ramp this up to high. We're gonna lower the legal drug consumption by a solid 7.5%. The poor youth hate us. Poverty is going to increase, but it does mean that crime will probably overall decrease. So we're going to apply those changes. Second is subsidized school buses. We're going to fully max that out, mainly because we don't want traffic congestion. And again, this is kind of like a future-proof policy because from here you can see bus usage decreases. I'm going to be talking more about mechanics here because unfortunately the campaign is it's kind of ruined. Um, you can see here that bus usage increasing means car usage decreases. Car usage decreases. Well, car usage increasing means traffic congestion increasing, and vice versa. And traffic congestion will just increase over time because if you look at car usage, GDP increases car usage, which increases traffic congestion. And so one of the best ways to do to and traffic congestion can then trigger a really really bad disaster called gridlock. And gridlock, well, kills your support from the commuters and motorists, kills their income, hits the GDP really hard. It's one of the nastier disasters in the game. I mean, it's not tax evasion, but it's up there. And so This is something I would have done. This is something you probably should do if you do play this game. Um, and ditto for rail subsidies. It does not make motorists like you, but it increases the amount of commuters, increases their income, which increases their opinion of you, which is already a flat increase. So again, it's the standard feedback loop. It decreases unemployment. We're gonna max that out to basically future-proof the country. So next thing on the agenda. No, we're 1 point off. Damn it. All right. Okay. Uh, and we're going to implement city farms as well. Now this increases the membership of farmers. This increases the again, it's the farmer feedback loop, and eventually you generally get a crisis, much like how gridlock. Unless you do some preventative measures, you basically have gridlock for any economically prosperous country. It's kind of the same thing with urbanization, and urbanization again hits really hard. Remember that there is a difference between the start trigger and the stop trigger, and it's pretty much impossible to get rid of. One of the ways to kind of solve that is to start doing basically vertical construction, right? Things like this, vertical farm subsidies. So farmland is getting rare, blah 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 blah. So this is actually a very important policy. Uh, that you wouldn't know because they don't tell you about the disasters until, well, they actually hit. Okay, now Youth Politics Council. This is something that personally I very much like, mainly because a lot of democracies kind of start suffering from apathy. Just over time, right? You can see this very prominently, especially in the U.S., where turnout is just pathetic. I mean, the turnout is like about half the population. It's like in the 50s. It's like 50 to 60%. I mean, even the very contentious 2016 elections only had 55.7% turnout. And these youth politics councils are a way to get people involved in politics. No matter what their political leanings are, it's healthy for a democracy simply just to have more people participate. So, Youth Politics Council, yep, passed. It also helps. Well, I mean, the youth is not exactly a massive voting bloc because, well, membership is pretty stagnant, but they do like it. And it is a policy that I do believe in personally. So, and I mean, there's no downside to it. Cycling campaign is the same thing. It reduces the usage of rail, bus, car, increases health, the rail and bus usage does not really matter that much. Car usage, again, traffic congestion. But most importantly, it does improve health. And it means you probably won't get things like asthma epidemics and etc. And also, adult education subsidies. Honestly, this is something that should be more prevalent in real life, honestly, because the market changes, what people do changes. Look at the Rust Belt or North England or the French industrial regions, right? The skills necessary for you to thrive do change, and adult education subsidies is basically a unified program where you can start retraining adults to basically make career switches. And right now, for some reason, it appears to be a norm that you're out of college. It's you're I don't know, 21, 22, whatever, and you just go ahead and do work, and you do work in some industry dependent on your major. This shouldn't be the case. I mean, the decisions you make when you're 20 shouldn't impact you when you're like 50. I'd like to think that people do continue to acquire knowledge, and this provides a way to do that. Okay, and I do not believe I can do anything else. I want to do at least. Actually, there is a telecommuting initiative. Now, this has what's called uh, I guess you could call it a negative feedback loop in that, yeah, it makes commuters happy, but it means that there are fewer commuters. Trade unionists and parents like it. Traditionally, in my games, trade unionists they get banned eventually, but there is that benefit. Again, it decreases car usage, and we do not want that gridlock disaster. It's the same reason why I've always tried to keep a surplus throughout past free parts. You don't want these terrible, terrible disasters that you wouldn't know about. There we go. It does cost, like a fair amount. Generally, you wouldn't actually implement that until a solid amount into your second term, but we have to expedite that because, well, you know, we gotta go. So, like internet tracking. Oh, how relevant. So there are the real two sides to this argument is that kind of privacy and transparency versus having these services because for for example something like YouTube or Facebook, they have operating costs, and you can't have a free Facebook if you don't have data tracking because that's their product, right? They sell data. It's your data they sell, but they do sell data. I'm going to ban this tracking. And also allow tracking is another argument is convenience, right? You can have your work address or your school address or your home address automatically set into say Google Maps or something, and you use it as your GPS, then it's just more convenient. I personally err on the privacy side of this argument, but I mean, there's a fair argument for both. But uh, I personally like my privacy, so I'm going to ban the tracking. Health is increasing, poverty is increasing. Yeah, that's not a surprise. We actually still have a surplus, which does surprise me, actually. How come? Income has increased, expenditure has decreased, even though our GDP has. Is it interest? I'm pretty sure I'm blind. I just can't. Yeah, I'm gonna guess it's interest because I didn't really do anything. I don't recall doing anything that increases income. Did I? A second. Oh yeah. By the way, this is a way to basically just have a look at all of the policies you enacted slash had to go through per turn. So you can see, for example, if we go back to this, that we got rid of the corporate exodus. Uh, in year two. But there's also the market meltdown, which, you know, there you go. There you have it. This is not in sync for some reason, but, it, it is what it is. All right. So we still have a surplus. That's great. Which, oh, right. Yeah. It's probably because I'm doing the drug taxation. Is this going to stop organized crime? No, but we're very close. How can I do this while still getting re-elected? The drug addiction problem we're not going to be able to solve. Not in 2 turns. Obesity is going down. It's going to be gone next turn. And those are only 3 problems we have left. Hell, that's not bad. I'm going to do some vertical farm subsidies. Decreases unemployment. Gives you the farmer feedback loop. Decreases food prices. But there you go. Traffic congestion. The capitalists don't like us as much, but it's only 4%. We've done tons of things for them. They'll understand. And I guess I'll do some media stunts. I'm a trustworthy leader. A televised cabinet meeting. Now, this is also like an absolutely terrible idea because it's not just your citizens who can watch a cabinet meeting. But yeah, sure, we're gonna. Oh, it backfired. Yeah, we probably we probably made like a gaffe and accidentally said that Denmark was better or something. All right, next turn, final turn, immigration scandal. Yeah, racial tension. Conservatives don't like us. Patriots don't like us. The poor don't like us. Okay. Insurance crime. We still have a surplus. And now here you can make pledges. And these pledges basically uh, they boost support among certain uh, segments of the population. And you can only do this the turn right before an election. And in the next term, you basically have to fulfill them. If you don't fulfill them, then you get lynched. If only if only we could apply the same principles to real politicians, but take what you get. There are also speeches, which you can make basically this electioneering part makes it much easier to play the game because you don't have to do it based on policy alone. So, for example, speeches like this, like uh, this speech will just make the environmentalists like me. I'm not doing anything. I'm enacting no policies, but I can't just I can't just say, hey, I love the environment, even though you know I haven't really done much for the environment. It's the same thing with the religious. Like the religious bloody hate me, but I can just make the speech and it'll increase their perception of me. So if we, for example, and you can do this for the last three turns before an election. I just haven't been doing it, and so do we actually need it? No, we don't. We really don't. I'm gonna end it with robotics research grants. Oh, now the trade unions aren't gonna like this because, well, unions, factories, jobs, technology will increase over time. Industrial automation will increase over time. This will impact employment, obviously. But robotics research grants, again, it's just something that countries should implement. I mean, here's the thing, right? There is the argument that, oh, we shouldn't be doing more research into robotics because it robs people of jobs. But the thing is that the only reason it would ever rob somebody of a job is because it is more efficient. So by refusing to go this route, basically, right? By refusing to go into robotics, you're saying, okay, we're accepting that our industry will be less efficient. And there are a couple issues with that. First issue is that, yeah, sure, maybe it's good within your nation, right, in the interior of your nation, but there are other nations. And if other nations decide to pursue it, damn the workers, we're going to do it, and you don't, then their industry is just going to be more efficient. And the second argument, right, the secondary argument is that of private companies. Private companies care about their bottom line ultimately, right? So if there is a nation where there is skilled automation, and a nation where you have to use flesh and blood workers, they're probably going to choose the more skilled automation because it benefits their bottom line more. So it just makes no sense. So unless you can get every nation in the world to agree not to use such robotics technology, which is, let's be honest, never going to happen. Unless that is the case, then it makes no sense not to just push forward, advance, and basically just try and beat the opposition. And like find some other way to get people jobs. It's not the ideal solution, but I mean, in times of societal change, somebody's gonna get, somebody has to take the hit, and it's either the entire nation or a part of the nation, and that part of the nation, and why adult re-education campaigns are so important, can be retrained to do something else. So yeah, I'm gonna fully max that out. Of course, you could go the opposite route and just go for an automation tax, but that makes your country less competitive. It's just not a good policy. Youth club subsidies. All right, I'm going to increase this massively because this reduces crime. It sure increases the opinion of socialism, of like the socialists rather. But this isn't a bad thing. Why? Because these youth clubs, as long as they're not overtly political, right? These youth clubs actually allow people to kind of develop talent earlier in their life and also allows them to do something, if they want to, instead of just a summer holiday with little else to do. So, I mean, again, this is just development of talent, and, this can give you things like preparation for, future industries, etc. Individual companies generally don't have the resources for that. I mean, cool. I mean, like, yeah, sure, Google, Facebook, maybe they do, but most small companies will not. Government subsidies will assist in that regard, and so I will enact that policy. And well, I guess since I can just leave it to the next administration, right? We might as well. Oh, we can't. Oh, never mind. Damn it. No, no, we can't. Yeah, I'm just gonna go full on with the intelligence services. I do not like this. That's, we do not need a spy satellite network. But just to say, I have crushed crime. Listen, I'll leave all of the ethical ramifications to the next administration in pure politician fashion. Although then again, I'm facing issues, so I guess maybe not in pure politician fashion. All right, next turn, and let's have a look at what the election results are going to be. So the opposition outspent us 3-1. Let's see what happens. um, hey. Well, obviously, this isn't how Swedish elections actually work. They, it's not two party. It's not a two-party system. It's not Britain. It's not America. There are multiple different parties. And again, I'm just going to reiterate that there is an election on September the 9th, on the 9th of September, in Sweden, which is what actually prompted me to make this series in the first place. Please do vote. It is a proportional vote. There are many different parties. Do your research. You still have time if I get this video uploaded in time. And well, let's see. Let's have a look at the breakdown. Okay, the breakdown is pretty much everybody voted for me except the religious, but even that was 90%. Okay, changes. Okay, so basically changes. This shows our legacy, right? So health has increased, you know, by a solid 37%. Education has increased by nearly 20%. Crime has decreased by nearly 6%. Violent crime by nearly 7%. But poverty has increased by 7%. And somehow equality has also increased by 1%. I don't know how that happened. The environment has degraded, which is funny because all of the environmentalists voted for me. Uh, the working week ramped up. Technology ramped up though. Car usage went down. Rail usage went down. Bus usage went up. Because of those last minute changes, probably productivity. We're now a more productive nation. We crushed unemployment. Although CO2 emissions have gone up, air travel has gone up. CO2 emissions is tied with a lot of economic activity in this game. Immigration has gone up. Something I would have changed in the second term, but just because of the save game glitch, unfortunately I cannot. Um, energy efficiency. Uh, Energy efficiency has gone up. Racial tension has gone up, which is probably not a good thing because there's also increased immigration. Uh, and by probably I mean it is absolutely not a good thing. Um, Foreign relations went up, but international trade went down. These two generally actually go side by side, but international trade going down is probably because we had a global economic meltdown. As you can see with like the oil demand and oil price, the oil price just plummeted. Poor earnings went up by nearly 50%. Middle middle income earnings went up by nearly 15%. Quarter About 26% increase in the wealthy's earnings. I mean, this is a successful economy, ladies and gentlemen. GDP went up by 31%, but you can see like we privatized healthcare. Schools have been pretty much completely privatized. We basically completely privatized pensions. Housing, we didn't get to that. Tobacco usage unfortunately did increase, but alcohol consumption crushed. Traffic congestion, this generally goes up actually, but because again I implemented generally multi-term policies in the first term, it goes down. Tourism went down mainly because of the global economic meltdown. We did try the tourism game pretty early on, but after the global economy went to shit, I don't think anything could have gone this number up. Wages went up, legal drug consumption went up. We also engineered our own drug crisis. Whoops. Our currency is now stronger. The average temperature went up, which, let's be honest, it's Sweden. They probably need the warmth. I mean, look at that. Do you want to live in that? No, you want to live down here, right? Where you don't have to trudge through, like, was it 10 feet of snow? Um, Bitcoin has been very successful. There are other internet currencies available. And industrial automation has increased. Why this is okay? And on this screen, it actually like green is good and red is bad. Like this actually makes judgment. Why this is a why this isn't just like a neutral number like the others? I don't know, but you know, democracy democracy frees creators rather. They have their own politics. They probably believe that this was a good thing. And that's that, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, and remember to vote. It's November 9th.